Alright guys, so the Predecessor version 0.2 patch notes just dropped. The patch will be going live on Thursday, December the 15th. And let's just jump into it. So here we are on the Predecessor Reddit. I will leave a link to this post in the description. If you want to go look at it yourself, we won't be covering everything here in the video. So they did drop a video for patch 0.2. It just kind of covers like the big stuff and doesn't really go into detail on anything, but it's kind of like a generalization. I'm not gonna watch the video on right here, but it's there if you want to watch it. So we got the Countess is being brought out, so her entire kit's here, her passive, unique hero takedowns permanently grant her 2% magical lifesteal, stacking up to 10 times. Her primary ability, targets nearby enemy, blinks to it, leaving behind a shadow, dealing 70 scaling to 190 plus 30% magical power. If it's a minion or non-epic monster, it takes an additional 300%. It does also have a 40% slow for 1.25 seconds. You can re-trigger within 4 seconds to return to the position of the shadow. The secondary ability sends out a cloud of darkness, dealing 80 scaling to 280 plus 70% magical power. I am struggling to speak. Alternate ability spins, dealing 70 scaling to 210 plus 80% magical power to nearby enemies and healing herself for 10 scaling to 18 plus 6% magical power for each enemy hit. Against heroes, the healing is increased by 400%. There's a lot of sustain right there, actually. Ultimate ability, Countess jumps to a nearby enemy hero, forcing them to look at her and suppressing them for 0.75 seconds before dealing 150 scaling to 300 plus 10% plus 10% plus 5% magical power. Oh, sorry. Okay, I see it now. Plus 10% of the target's maximum health plus 5% magical power. I'm assuming it's how it's supposed to be. Math. So it's 10% times 5% magical power of the target's maximum health. Right? I might be wrong. Math is hard. I feel like they could have wrote that in a way that didn't make me have to remember math from 75 years ago. As well as healing her for 50% of the damage dealt. I'll figure that out. Don't worry about it. Major game improvements. Custom match. It does only support 5v5 at the moment, unfortunately. It'll be locked with like a key that you can make. In-game reporting. Hell yeah. There's a bunch of different stuff. Negative attitude. Yeah, I don't know. Does that mean you can report me because I want to FF when we're down 18-0 at 10 minutes? Camera position's been changed. I'm sure that's gonna feel weird for a bit, but we'll all get used to it. I think it's better. I don't know. It looks a lot more like Smite now. I will say that. Change the names of coins to platinum. Don't worry, you have your premium currency still. Oh yeah, there's hero voice lines for your ultimate being off cooldown now. No one else can hear them, but it's useful. If you're like mid-fight and you hear your character's voice line, you'll know. Team chat is now disabled by default, which I don't like this particularly, but I guess a lot of people thought it would be a better option, so fair play to them. Thank you. Hero selection will automatically be locked in if a player has already selected them during the draft, and they are still available when the lock timer reaches 0. So before in Predecessor, when you were at the picks screen, I guess the draft screen, if I hovered Chimera, and I don't lock in, I go use the washroom, I come back, not in time, I'm banned for 3 minutes or 4 minutes or whatever the ban timer was. Now, if I do that and I walk away, it'll automatically lock in Chimera for me when my turn hits 0 seconds, if Chimera is still available. So, that's awesome. Added automatic scaling penalties for players that dodge, so now it'll be no longer be a flat 4-minute or 3.5-minute ban, whatever it was. So the first penalty is 30 seconds, second 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 hour, 12 hour, 24 hour, or full day. This resets every 7 days. Some gamepad stuff. I'm not a gamepad user, so I'm not too worried about it. Social banner in-game, so that links to the patch notes. Awesome. The in-game search bar now searches item descriptions, so you can type in anti-heal and you'll actually get it now. Sentry has new visual FX. Surrender vote now ignores AFK players, thankfully. Added a keybind for shop to hints. Added a sound when your party changes size, nice. Some ultimates are now forced to normal cast as they can't be used with quick or instant. Improved SFX for Sparrow. Increased base volume of all sounds. No, please. Damn it. Just the volume of hero voice lines. I think they should be louder. I assume that's what they did. Updated recommended items for Severog for you guys who still use recommended items. Melee heroes now have the offset health bar by default to accommodate the new camera position. That's cool. They thought of like everything with the camera, I guess. Updated the error message player receives when they are banned from the matchmaking to better reflect new bans. Okay. Added kill notifications to the center of the screen. I will actually go to the YouTube video for this. So this is like what you would see in League or Smite.
What's up, Predecessor community?
Don't talk to me, Nabori. Don't talk. Shush. Where is it? Is this okay? Yeah. So we'll see it right here. Oh, because I'm zoomed in. So you can see it here. So normally when the Murdoch gets a kill, you'll see it pop up on the left here. So like Murdoch killed Drongo, but now it also appears in the middle here. So there's no confusion. I know sometimes in team fights when they're going crazy, you might not realize that your team's up 1 or up 2 or down 1 because you didn't really notice the person die. Now it's impossible not to notice. It's right there in the middle of your screen. Perfect. I think that was something that was... Whoops, sorry. That was missing and should have been there a while ago. But we got it now. Balance updates. I'll read this out because this is basically their perception on balancing right now, which definitely can't stay true as we go further. Hey guys, overall our win rates for heroes have been fairly solid with no one dipping below 47 and no one creeping above 54. Looking at you, Orange Man. I'm hoping that's not how they continue to do. Like, I hope that's not how they're looking at balancing. Like, we want to keep it within that specific range. Because there's some characters that will have such a high skill cap that not good, that like bad players will bring down a lot. So buffing them would be super damaging to competitive at high ranks or the pro league when, if and whenever starts. I feel like Smite's had issues with that where they buff someone that's bad in low rank but is insanely good in high rank. Heroes with magical power scaling deal 50% of their magical power as tower damage instead of using a hero's basic attack scaling. Sure. That makes sense. I feel like that would more relevant for like magical ADCs, but still overall pretty relevant. And this is where we disagree with things. Though I will never feel inclined to play this character again after this, so that's cool. Crunch got fucking neutered. Crunch has been a terror since early access hit because we look at bad players. However, we want to retain his high uptime playstyle to keep his unique flair among the roster bright. We're opting to heavily decrease his overall damage output and specifically target his healing when building physical power. Alongside this, we're shifting some of his magical scaling to his right crunch to allow more utility / crowd control oriented play when opting into higher magical power itemization. Bear in mind with the changes come anti-heal buffs and mutilator nerfs. Sorry. This should further decrease his effectiveness. Bunch of stuff. There it is if you want to look at it. Magical scaling being added, physical scaling being taken away. They did a lot. I don't know that they needed to. I mean, I guess it's about keeping the community happy. A lot of the vocal community is gold plat, who can handle specific character. So it is what it is. Decker. Decker's been nerfed. I agree. Physical armor growth decreased from 4 to 3.5. Stasis bomb cooldown increased from 16 scaling to 12 to 18 scaling to 14. Drongo got a buff. Yeah. Is this enough? No. Well, it helps a lot. I will say that. Oh, wait, I didn't read Rad Round's cooldown got. This might actually be enough. Rad Round's cooldown decreased from 16 to 14. Shrapnel Cannon cooldown decreased from 110 scaling to 90 to 100 scaling to 80. Pretty good. Shrapnel Cannon now provides 0.5 seconds of CC immunity when casting, which, honestly, I don't play this character, but I imagine being stunned right when you cast your ult felt really, really bad. Bang Mao got some fixes. Not really. For good players, his burst potential is increased because his safeguard now resets his basic attack timer. Cool. There was a description bug. Howitzer got nerfed a little bit. Muriel got buffed a little bit. Fair enough. Richter got nerfed. Hey, they nerfed the best character in the game. Cool. I don't know that... Well, they actually birthed him, which is... okay. I also felt like the ult was the worst part about him a lot of the time. Come late game. What they did, though, was they decreased his health growth from 110 to 102. Electrocute cooldown increased from static 8 to 10, scaling down to 8. And Skewer Stun, which is his ultimate, changed to a suppression. So because it's not a CC, because it's not a stun and instead suppression, tenacity will no longer affect it. Which makes sense, because it was really weird that when you would ult somebody, they would get out of your ult before you did. Because when you Richter ult, you're basically Richter ulting yourself, because you can't move. Reaper of Souls health per tier decreased. Well, okay, so Sevarog is just getting stronger late game, weaker early. Sure. Sure. I felt like he was really, really bad early. But I guess this means... because in some cases, if you made a mistake or jungler is really focused, you Sevarog could get really strong really quick. Sure. I don't hate it. Sparrow got a buff to her ult. Arrow projectile speed increased. Okay. Steel got a nerf. Unfortunately, my jungle main got nerfed. Physical armor growth decreased from 4.4 to 4. Battering barrier scaling decreased from 2 to scaling to 8 to 2 scaling to 6. That hurts quite a bit. Some of his inherent tankiness being gone sucks in the jungle. Battering barrier, that's not a big deal. Items. Diminishing from returns from hunt and support crests have been removed at 20 minutes. Awesome. Sure. What's to say? Anti-heal items are being bumped to counter our high lifesteal and omnivamp builds. They're being utilized by those pesky bruises and ADCs. We're opting for a 20 scaling to 40 line instead of 15 scaling to 30. 20 scaling to 40 line instead of a 15 scaling to 30. So basically all that's saying is, when you were building Tainted whatever, there was the blade or the scepter that was 15%, and then the final item added another 15. Now that middle item is 20, and the final item is 40% reduced healing. I think it's a good change. This will hurt Crunch a lot, which is great. This will hurt Chimera, which is great for bad players. And like I said, the ADCs, it'll hurt as well, which is great. Looking at you, Sparrow. Eviscerator got nerfed. Well, yeah, it's nerfing the attack speed, increasing the initial power scaling. So it's getting burfed. I think it'll be worse on Sparrow overall now, which I think was the point. Is there anything else that's like super important? Some of the blight and stuff. Ashbringer's getting attack speed increase. I think that's pretty good. Perforator's getting a 5% increase. Mutilator is a big one. Mutilator's physical power is being decreased from 45 to 40, and Devour percent health damage decreased from 1.5 to 1.25. That's a pretty significant nerf on Mutilator. Probably still want to build it on Crunch, maybe. I don't know. I'm not building it on Chimera probably anymore. I think there's better options. Oh. Lifebinder Leech passive rework. Damaging enemy hero with an ability heals you over 5 seconds based on your maximum health and magical power. But now slowing or immobilizing enemy hero restores plus 30% of magical power health and grants 20 or 200 movement speed for 3 seconds on a 6-second cooldown. That is quite the significant rework. That is like not even close to the same item anymore. Bug fix on Megacosm. Prophecy nerf. Tainted Scepter again gets the standard buff. Tainted Totem changed a bit. Physical armor decreased from 40 to 35. The Blight healing reduction increased from 30 to 40 to keep it in line with other healing items. Nirvana healing and shielding increased from or decreased from 20% to 15%. Basically, they buffed the anti-heal and nerfed other stuff because it was already kind of performing pretty well. Fire Blossom getting nerfed, which is pretty significant to the tanky junglers. 275 health decreased to 225. Sucks for Steel, sucks for Sev. Sucks for Richter and offlane. Is there anything else that Tainted Guard got nerfed to... Tainted Guard got nerfed. Health decreased from 400 to 30 to 350. Physical armor scaling decreased from 30 to 21. And then the healing reduction gets buffed. So it seems like all of the tank items got nerfed to match the increased anti-heal. But none of the damage ones did. They were all, Scepter felt pretty good to begin with. So, there's that. So, Jungle, Fangtooth, health, okay. Health increased from 4,200, scaling to 9,800. Now changed to 5,800, scaling to 12,870. Physical armor increased from 20 scaling to 34 to 20 scaling to 48. Magical armor increased from 20 to 30 flat. Significant buff to Fangtooth. I will be curious to see how that makes the game play out now. Junglers, remember, it's a lot harder to solo now. Oh, mini orb got nerfed. Okay. Physical power decreased from 60 scaling to 340 to 60 scaling to 270. Okay. Bug fixes. Yo, look at Crunch. Left Crunch dealt true damage to towers. Basic attack animations not play correctly with high attack speed. Jetpack VFX would not trigger correctly when using forward crunch. Fixed a bug where crunches recrunch would go on cooldown incorrectly when being cancelled by crowd control. I was noticing that actually. So that actually kind of buffs him a little bit. Fixed a bug where heroes could get on top of Decker's containment fence. Yes. Drongo's boomerang didn't play an impact sound when returning. I actually played Drongo once and noticed that. Like, I've only played the character once and I did notice that. So there's like general bug fixes. I don't think anything else is a super big deal. I'm like kind of half looking. See if there's anything I want to specifically point out. What? Where Kalari would fly into the sky after using guillotine into Gideon's torn space portal. I've never seen this, but I wish I did. Huh. Interesting. A lot of bug fixes. Shit. Oh, I'm curious to see if the auto move button. Or if I've even experienced any of these bugs. Oh, fixed a bug where the draft would load heroes on a black screen when a player failed to connect to the draft. I've seen that. A ton of bug fixes. This is great to see. The devs have clearly been taking a good job of like actually clearly caring about the game and putting in the work to fix things and making sure things are fixed. It doesn't. I may have missed it. I don't think they fixed the last input bug or whatever we want to call it. But that's basically the patch notes. Not a ton of balance changes. I guess there shouldn't be a ton when there's only 20 heroes. But Countess is coming. Ton of bug fixes. The Crunch nerf, Richter Burf, whatever you want to call it. Severug Burf. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Anyways, I thank you all for watching again. Feel free to like and subscribe, and come back every day for more Predecessor content. Peace. Bears out.
Hey, I got some of that daily Predecessor content right here. Why not check it out? But just keep it between you and me. No one else needs to know.